Super Lucky Disaster Man. Chapter 4, Encountering Twice in a Single Day. Lupin Bar. Cough, so is it true? Intelligence operative Sakaguchi Ango held back his laughter and asked. Dazai was asked, when will your book be out? Oda Sakanosuke was a little surprised. Dazai is writing a book? No. Dazai Osamu leaned on the bar counter. Ango is well informed. You didn't silence them. This kind of thing naturally spreads really fast. If I'm not even informed with news concerning Port Mafia's most promising executive to be, then I, an intelligence officer, can just quit. Sakaguchi Ango said while holding up his glasses. However, I only heard the general. I'm not very clear of the specific situation. In short, I feel a little perplexed. Oda Sakanosuke isn't up to date with the latest news, he asked in confusion. Perplexed? That's right, I heard the person they mistakenly caught kept praising Dazai with bursts of kind-hearted, caring descriptions and such. Sakaguchi Ango's face was full of words that were hard to say. There's no way he would say these kinds of things in such a situation. Dazai Osamu raised his head. Ango, as an intelligence officer, you are not up to the job. He really did say so. Sakaguchi Ango. Huh? Because he got the news when he was already out on business, Sakaguchi Ango thought that it wasn't a secret, so he decided to directly ask Dazai since it was more convenient, so he was unclear what had happened. According to the investigated reports, he thought that even if that person was rescued by Dazai, normal people would quickly try to reduce their own presence in this kind of situation and to be as far from any mafia-related thing as possible. But according to what Dazai is saying, this person not only did not leave, but also stays and continually chats with Dazai. Dazai also just continues to listen like that. Isn't he having too much free time, unless the other party is worthy of Dazai's attention? Sakaguchi Ango suddenly understood. Could it be the person you mentioned who borrowed your phone yesterday, Komaeda Nagito? After all, what this person experienced was too fantastical. After listening to Dazai that day, Sakaguchi Ango also could not help but do an investigation on Komaeda Nagito. He just have to say, this person's profile really makes one speechless. The impression is deeply engraved. You can't even forget it even if you want to. That's right, it is that Komaeda-kun. Dazai Osamu cheerfully admitted. Very fateful, huh? Yokohama feels really small. Oda Sakanosuke sighed. What a coincidence. It indeed is a coincidence, too much of a coincidence. Dazai Osamu propped his chin up and said, he has been in Yokohama for so long yet we have never met, but within these 2 days we continuously coincidentally met. Very interesting, right? Sakaguchi Ango thought more. What you're saying is, he is purposely approaching you. No, it's really a coincidence. Dazai Osamu seemed to be happy because he had found a new toy. His face carried a smile and said, but this probability. Could it be that I am actually his bad luck? Otherwise, why is his luck always letting me encounter him? Although Sakaguchi Ango did not speak, but looking at his expression, it seemed to be in agreement. To be acquainted with Dazai also felt interested in him. Any way you're thinking about it, Komaeda Nagito's future is very grim. Oda Sakanosuke is still holding a calming Buddha appearance. Why aren't you his luck? Dazai Osamu widened his eyes, and laughed out loud. Pfft, ha 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 ha. Oda Saka, you are so interesting, ha 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 ha. Oda Sakanosuke looked towards Sakaguchi Ango. Did I say something wrong? The probability of good luck and bad luck originally is not much different. Moreover, if it is not an ability, there is also the possibility that it is just a pure coincidence. Dazai Osamu laughs so hard his tears come out. Sakaguchi Ango said with complicated feelings, Oda Saka, you haven't said anything wrong. It is Dazai who laughs too strangely. Oda Saka is truly incredible. Although he and Oda Saka know Dazai is not bad, but when you look at where those that gained Dazai's interest ended up. Hopefully the next time he hears of Komaeda Nagito's, it is not a report of his death. So, why does he think you want to publish a book? Oda Sakanosuke pulls the topic back. Dazai Osamu flicks the bandage on his hand. This, only he himself knows, his mental state at that time is not very stable, he must be daydreaming. Or there really is an author who has the same name as me? Sakaguchi Ango spits, if there is, it's impossible, I don't know. Same to you. Port Mafia executive to be. If the same name appears in other fields, their intelligence division absolutely will be the first to obtain the news, okay. Dazai Osamu smiled at this but did not say anything. Sakaguchi Ango did not take it to heart. The next topics returned to their normal pace, random gossip and complaints, until Sakaguchi Ango stood up to say goodbye. I still has work, so I have to end here today. The intelligence operative supported his glasses. I originally thought that I wouldn't see you guys today, didn't expect that you guys are all here. Compared to usual, it's still early today, you two can continue. Oda Sakanosuke looked at the time. No, I also want to go back. I promised the kids to go home early, but today's mission just happened to be in Tokyo, so I came here. Ha! Dazai Osamu laughed without any warning. As for me, there was a sudden mission today and was called back by the boss, so despite me letting myself rest early after resolving the mission, Mori-san wouldn't say anything. As a result, the three of us all gather here early compares to our usual time. That's right, what a coincidence. Sakaguchi Ango suddenly felt something was wrong after finished speaking. Want to bet? Dazai Osamu asked with great interest. I feel that I will definitely meet Komaeda-kun again today. Sakaguchi Ango struggled a bit. It's not like all coincidences are related to that young man. Then Ango is betting that I won't see him? No. Sakaguchi Ango was silent for a moment, then said, I bet that you will see him. What? In the end, Ango also feels that this is not a mere coincidence. Dazai Osamu looked disappointed. Why don't you persist a bit? Sakaguchi Ango calmly said, because I suddenly remembered, the report said, that young man usually returns to Tokyo every week at this time. They are currently at Lupin Bar, although it is where 3 Port Mafia members usually gather, but it is actually not located in Yokohama, but in Tokyo. Since Japan is relatively small, going back and forth is not troublesome. There have been so many coincidences that make them meet in Tokyo despite not the usual time. He felt that another coincidence is not strange. No, it is indeed still very strange. As the Special Division for Unusual Powers sent to Port Mafia as a spy, Sakaguchi Ango hoped from the heart that Dazai will not meet Komaeda Nagito, otherwise he really have to send his information to the Special Division for Unusual Powers. The pile of information of coincidences that seemingly make the studies of probability useless makes people panic. What if it really is a very dangerous ability? Then what would they do? Hoping that Oda Sakanosuke would offer a remedy, Sakaguchi Ango asks, Oda Saku wants to bet? But Oda Sakanosuke disappointed Sakaguchi Ango. He said, I also bet Dazai will see him. If the 3 of us bet the same, this bet can't stand, right? Why do you also bet on this? Sakaguchi Ango asked confusedly. Because Dazai is really interested in that person. Their age is not much different. I feel that maybe they will become like-minded friends. Oda Sakanosuke calmly said, so I hope they can meet. If I were to bet, then of course it has to be the results that I look forward to the most. Sakaguchi Ango. He really wanted to ask Oda Saku to not offer therapy. Don't know why, but when he heard this, he had a bad premonition. Dazai Osamu crazily laughed again. Ha 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 ha. Good, I will try to see. Ha ha. Forget it. I really need to leave. Farewell. Sakaguchi Ango had no interest in continuing this topic, however he firmly remembered Komaeda Nagito's name in his heart, deciding to focus on him more just in case something happens. Waiting for Sakaguchi Ango to leave in a hurry, Oda Sakanosuke finished his cup, also bidding farewell and left, leaving Dazai Osamu still staying at the bar. The barista very calmly tidied up the table. After a long while, he discovered that Dazai Osamu was slowly playing with the ice cubes of his wine cup, not looking anxious at all. Dazai Osamu suddenly opened his mouth. Boss, you must be thinking, clearly I want to go see someone, why am I not anxious at all? The barista said, I don't think so. He is very clear that the three who often come to this place were all Mafia, and to be alive until now, he knows full well what he should do, especially what should be heard and what should not be heard needed to be very clear. It doesn't matter, you can think that. Dazai Osamu said very willfully. The barista did not reply this time. Based on experience, sometimes this young man did not need him to respond, he just wanted to talk aloud. Sure enough, Dazai Osamu did not care about the barista's reaction, only focuses on himself and is using a mumble voice to continue. If I stay here for a while, will I miss it or will it increase our chance of meeting? I am very curious. Although this is not a divination, but for Dazai Osamu, it is not much different from divination. In the end, is it because of knowing the future that everything he does will reversely promote the future to come true, or is it that even if he knows the future and does nothing that make the future come true? Dazai Osamu is currently testing the principle of Komaeda Nagito's ability. At least until now, Dazai Osamu still believes that Komaeda Nagito is an ability user. Dazai Osamu stubbornly stayed at the bar playing on his phone to waste an hour before leaving. If he waited too long, it became boring. In the end, whether or not they could meet was just a guess, not enough to make Dazai Osamu do more to try. After leaving, Dazai Osamu did not follow his normal route, but rather strolled around Tokyo at will. After all, he did not like subordinates following him to Lupin, and rather more accustomed to going back and forth by himself. Also, the probability of meeting Komaeda Nagito at the station was much higher than other places. Because of looking through the reports, Dazai Osamu also knew Komaeda Nagito's Tokyo address, and intentionally did not go to that side of town. In short, he would go to wherever the probability was low. Anyway, it was still early, he had not relaxed and strolled around for a long time. Taking this opportunity to stroll around was also good. In case he really did not meet Komaeda Nagito, it would not be considered a waste of time. Dazai Osamu considers if he can or cannot meet Komaeda Nagito today as an interesting game, because according to today's development, combined with Komaeda Nagito reports, he felt that if he didn't do all this, the probability of meeting Komaeda Nagito was very high. It's fine if they won't meet, but if they can still meet after all that. Dazai Osamu saw a figure coming out from a certain big building in the corner of his eye. He instinctively looked over, and immediately became somewhat speechless and dumbfounded. They actually really met. So why did he even appear here? This direction is obviously the complete opposite from his home, isn't it? He stood in place, staring at the gradually approaching person. After a few seconds, Dazai Osamu just lightly laughed and muttered, I really am this guy destined bad luck. Chapter 4 End. Author's note. This chapter's MVP milk god Oda-saku. Oda-saku, maybe it's not an ability. Oda-saku, maybe they'll become friends. Oda-saku, maybe. Engo, can you milk Dazai a little more so he abandons evil and follows justice? Please. Translate note. The term milk here usually refers to a healer, the person that gives care.